If you need to cite from scientific literature or look for some information in scientific literature, the old way to do it would be to go to Google Scholar and then type in whatever you're looking for. And then you would have to click into each one of these articles and try to find whatever you're looking for inside the text. Now, this is a lot of reading through a lot of different articles, and it's just very time-consuming and inefficient. So today I'm going to show you a few AI tools that can help you tremendously with finding information from scientific literature and citing the right articles. These tools are not in any particular order, plus this video is not sponsored by any of them. I genuinely find that these tools are great for scientific research and I'd love to share them with you. So let's jump right in. The first tool is called Scispace. However, the site is typeset.io for whatever reason. So I'll link to this in the description below. This is a really powerful tool. So for example, in this literature review tab, I can ask it any questions such as, what are the benefits and side effects of coffee? And then once I click enter, this is super powerful. So first of all, it gave me all the relevant papers in this table with a link to the article, plus the author, publication date, journal name, how many people have cited this article, etc., etc. And then for a few of these articles, it even shows you if it has open access, which means you can actually access the article for free and read the whole thing. Plus, by default, there is this insights column where it extracts the information from the paper that answers your question. So in our case, our question is, what are the benefits and side effects of coffee? And it summarizes all that information from this article into a really short and concise paragraph. Super useful. And then this TLDR column summarizes the entire article. So there's a subtle difference between these two columns, but all in all, I think this is a very powerful breakdown of what you need to know without going to Google Scholar and reading through each article. And then also at the top, this is a summary of the top 5 papers in this table. And that's the default for the free plan. If you want to summarize the top 10 papers, then you need to pay for their premium plan. However, the top 5 is already really good. So here it says coffee consumption has been associated with various health benefits and side effects. Coffee intake might prevent inflammatory and oxidative stress-related diseases like etc., type 2 diabetes, reduce risk of certain cancers, etc. And then it gives you the correct citations, which are down here. However, excessive coffee consumption can lead to heartburn, diuresis, and addiction, etc. So this is like a 1-paragraph summary of your question based on the top 5 papers in this table. And you can also add multiple columns here. So the default is just these two, insights and TLDR. But for example, you can add a summarized abstract, which is just a summary of the abstract of the article. Or you can add a results column, which is just a summary of the results of the article. This is just a really versatile tool, and there are so many ways to access information from tons and tons of articles without you having to find them yourself. Now, if you click on one of these articles, let's say I want to read this one, you can analyze the article further with AI. So, for example, it gives you a few prompts that you can use, like explain the abstract of this paper in 2 lines, results of the paper, methods used in this paper. Plus, it gives you the PDF right here. So you don't need to go to an external site and download the PDF. Super useful tool. And over here, if you click on Ask Copilot, it brings up this AI chat assistant, basically, where you can ask questions about this article. So, for example, you can ask, what are the methods used in this paper? And it would answer that for you. You can also highlight text within this PDF and then have this chatbot explain it. So let's say, for example, I have no idea what this sentence means. A negative finding was the association between the early age of onset of Huntington's disease with increased coffee consumption, and this outlier might be due to the strong genetic origins of this debilitating autosomal dominant disease. What on earth does that even mean? I can just highlight this and then click explain text, and then this chatbot would help me explain this text. How cool is that? Let's say I don't know what Huntington's disease is, it explains this for me. I don't know what an outlier means, it also explains that for me. A really powerful tool. Plus, I can also click these 3 dots here to download the PDF to my computer. Or alternatively, if there's this PDF button here. I can just click on that to download it as well. Now, let's say you want to slap this exact paragraph into your essay or article that you're writing, but you don't know if it might be flagged by any AI content detector. Well, you can simply copy this paragraph, and then down here there's an AI detector where you just paste this and then click Analyze. Now, it does detect that 100% of this paragraph is written by AI. So next, what you would do is copy this again, and then go to this paraphraser tool, and then paste it here, and it would help you paraphrase this text into something else. How cool is that? Plus, you can select from different tones, you can select the length, you can select the variation. There's just so many things you can do with this. There are a few other features here, like a citation generator, where you can input a web page or an article or anything else, and then select the citation style you want, and then you can click Generate. Super easy for you to generate citations. Going back to the home page, there's also this feature, Ask Questions on a PDF, where you can simply upload any PDF and talk to that AI chatbot to explain things for you. So I just downloaded that coffee article a few minutes ago, so I'm going to upload that again, and let's see if this works. Perfect. It's really quick, and you can get it to explain the math and all the methods that they used. You can ask it any question about this article, and it would answer it for you. The standard version is free to use as far as I know. And then if you want a high quality version, I assume this is using a higher quality model, such as GPT-4 instead of 3.5, then you would need to pay for a premium plan. And that brings us to the pricing. So you can see they have a free plan, which is already enough for me. It's $0. And you can get this Copilot to answer all your questions using the standard model. You do get a limited amount of messages, plus a limited amount of literature review searches, plus limited paraphraser outputs. But depending on how frequently you do this, I think this is more than enough. And then there's also a premium plan, which is $12 per month right now. It gives you unlimited messages, unlimited literature review searches, plus a whole lot of other benefits. For labs and universities, there's also a discounted pricing per user per month. So that is Scispace for you. The next one is a very similar tool. It's called Elicit. It's simply elicit.com, but I'll link to it in the description below as well. And it's pretty much the same thing. So you just ask it a question and it would find articles from scientific literature. So let's use the same question. What are the benefits and side effects of coffee? And let's see what it gives us. So you can see it's very similar to Scispace, where at the top it gives you a paragraph, which is a summary of the top X papers. So Scispace, I believe it was 5 papers. Here it's 4. And then the premium plan for Scispace is 10 papers. Here the plus plan is 8 papers. And then if you want to look at each paper further, it also gives you a table with the papers. You can access the PDF if there is one. You can copy a link to the DOI. It shows the author, the year, so not the full date as we saw with Scispace, the journal name, number of citations. You can copy the DOI code. If there's a PDF you can access, you can also click on this button. And then by default, it gives you an abstract summary. So it basically summarizes the abstract of the article, but you can add other columns as well. So for example, let's try main findings, and it would summarize the main findings of that article. Again, a super powerful tool that you can use to really quickly gather information from scientific articles without you having to search on Google Scholar and having to read through each one to find the information you need. And now if you click on each of these articles here, because it's open access, you can read the entire article here, but it doesn't show you any figures or supporting images. It's just all text. And then here is just the abstract summary and the main findings, which we selected from the table. So you can't actually click into an article and ask an AI chatbot about it further like you would with Scispace. Here's another example. I'll click this one, which I believe does not have open access, so you can't access the entire article. It just gives you the abstract, and that's all we get. Which, by the way, brings me to something I want to rant about. So if you're not familiar with how academia works, first, researchers, scientists, professors, they spend months or even years working on a research project, and once they finish the project, once they reached some interesting findings, they would publish their findings in a scientific article through a journal. The problem is they pay the journal to have their work published in that journal. So even though the professor or the researcher does all the work, they're the ones who have to pay the journal to have their work published. So already the incentive isn't really right there. But what about if we normal people, we want to read that article? Well, we also need to pay the journal to access the article. So here's an example. Going back to this coffee consumption, I can see that there's no PDF available, so this is probably closed. It's not open access, so let me just click on this article, and then let's see, it links to Taylor and Francis. And so here's the original article, and you can see to access this, oh my God, it costs $61 to access one freaking PDF. That's just ridiculous. And so not only is the researcher who's doing all the work paying the journal to have their work published, the journal doesn't give any money to the researcher, but us readers have to pay the journal to access this article. So all the money goes to the journal. The journal doesn't pay the researcher for how many readers read the article. So this middleman is getting all the money, and I think this is just a really awful system with very misaligned incentives. So if you're in academia, please let me know why you're still tolerating this and what we can do about it. But anyways, back to Elicit, here's the pricing. When you sign up, I believe you get 5,000 credits. That's just one time. It doesn't refresh every month. So think of it as like a free trial. Afterwards, you need to pay $10 a month to get a refresh of 12,000 credits per month. Plus, it's only in the Plus plan where you can ask the chatbot questions about the article. Thanks to Cramify for sponsoring this video. Studying for final exams can be such a stressful time, but here's an awesome tool that can help you ace your exams. It's called Cramify. For me, studying for exams felt completely overwhelming. I would spend hours poring over dense course materials, trying to distill all the key concepts and practice problems. But here comes Cramify. It's a new AI study tool that makes preparing for exams so much more efficient and manageable. All you have to do is upload your class notes and materials, and Cramify automatically creates summarized review notes and practice questions with solutions to the specific course you're taking. The Study Summarizer feature is a game changer. It condensed all my notes into simple summaries so I could quickly review all the important info. And the Question Solver feature lets me test myself with practice questions that were almost identical to what ended up on the actual exam. So instead of feeling stressed, Cramify gives you more confidence and control going into exams. If you're looking for a better way to study and boost your grades, I highly recommend giving Cramify a try. Go to the link in the description below to sign up and try it for free. Alright, next one is really similar. Again, this is called consensus, but I guess the layout is just a bit different. So let's ask it the same question. What are the benefits and side effects of coffee? So very similar to the last few tools, at the top it gives you a summary, plus it gives you a consensus meter, which I'll show you in a second. But because we're not asking a yes-no question, we're asking for what are the benefits, this consensus meter does not apply. I'll show you another example of this in a second. But instead of a table, what we have here is kind of like a search result, where it finds whatever you're asking in the article and gives you a summary sentence of that information. So here are a few more examples. And whenever you see this bling bling icon here, it costs you a few credits, which I'll talk about in a second. So if you click on this, doesn't seem to be showing anything here. Let's see if I click on this one. All right, so here it gives us some outcomes. It couldn't find the population or sample size. Let's try one more. Again, this info isn't really accurate. So in outcomes, it just says health effects of coffee consumption. That's not really conclusive of anything. And then it's lacking this data. They should state the sample size somewhere in the article. So perhaps this AI isn't good enough to pick this up. I'm not sure. All right, so if you click on this article further, it just shows you the abstract here. It shows you the citations, and in each citation, it also gives you a summary of what that paper is about. And then here again, if you see this coin icon or you see this bling bling icon, it generally requires some credits, which I'll talk about in a second, but let's generate the snapshot. And again, it's just the same thing as you saw from the search results. So that's it. If you click on full text, it just takes you to the external website, which, oh my gosh, it charges you $61. And again, none of the money goes to the researcher. But anyways, back to this. It doesn't look like I can use an AI chatbot and actually ask it questions about the article, like I did in Scispace. So that's a limitation of consensus here. But the really nice thing about it is this consensus meter. So instead of saying, what are the benefits and side effects of coffee? If I ask it, is coffee consumption beneficial for health? So that's a yes/no question. You get this really helpful consensus meter where it claims to analyze 18 papers, and out of those 18 papers, 56% determined that yes, coffee is beneficial, 44% determined possibly, and 0% said no. So this is a really helpful tool if you want to figure out the answer to a yes/no question from scientific literature. Let's also check out this Copilot feature here, which if you turn this on, it basically just writes a more in-depth summary of your question. So yeah, that's basically it. It gives you an introduction, key insights, conclusion, but you can't ask it further. It's not like you can prompt it further and chat with it like a regular chatbot. So I wouldn't really call it Copilot in this case. But anyways, let's move on to the pricing. So they do offer a generous free plan, which gives you 20 AI credits per month. So it refreshes every month. You get unlimited searches, unlimited research quality indicators, AI-powered filters, etc. And again, the only place where you need to spend credits is this Synthesize, which gives you this summary at the top, plus this consensus meter, or Copilot, which helps you write out this more in-depth summary of your question. The rest of these, you don't actually need to spend any credits. This is just free to use. And then also down here for this study snapshot, if you click on this and it loads some information, it also uses up some credits. So again, for the free plan, you get 20 credits per month. If you want to upgrade to unlimited usage, then you need to pay for the premium plan, which starts at $8.99 per month. The next one is called Scisummary. Again, I'll link to this in the description below. So you can sign up for free. Let me just do this right now. So in this library tab, you can ask it questions, and it would ideally find some articles for you. So let's do the same question. What are the health benefits and side effects of coffee? And then click search. And you can see very similar to the first few tools that I've showed you. At the top, there is this summary of exactly what you asked. So this is actually very nice. It breaks it down into point form, all the health benefits, plus the side effects, which is what I asked in the question. So very nice. You can also filter by the publication date, the field of study, the publication type, minimum citation count, plus the access type. And then here we have the standard table, which you've seen with the previous tools as well, where it lists the article and all the information about the article, including the authors, publication date, DOI code, number of citations, and then the abstract. And if you click into this article, it just loads up the external site of the article. So library is one of the functions. Another tab is called Summarize, where you can input a file or URL or text. Note that for URL, the article does have to be open access. So if it's closed and you need to pay for the article, it's not going to actually access the article for you. Let's try out that coffee article, which I just downloaded from Scispace a few minutes ago. And then you can select different summary modes. So there's summarize by section, there's summarize with area of focus, there's key points plus overview, etc. So feel free to play around with these. I usually just leave it at the default of summarize. And then summary length, you can choose between short, medium, and long. Again, I just resort to the default of medium. And then language is English. And notice up here, right now I have exhausted 0 of my 10,000 monthly word limit, which I'll talk about in a second. But just notice that once I request this summary, it's going to use up my credits. You can see here it's showing the PDF that I just uploaded, and this usually takes a while. All right, perfect. So after it has finished summarizing, notice that it used up 7,000 of my 10,000 monthly words. So I'm assuming this article is around 7,000 words long. And then here is a summary. So there are a few words that are underlined, which if you hover over it, it gives you kind of a Wikipedia preview of the definition of that word. It's not really accurate sometimes. So for example, this word, chemotherapeutic effects, it links to cruciferous vegetables for some strange reason. However, if you hover over mortality, it does bring you to the mortality page of Wikipedia. Same with cancer. So that's basically the summary. And then if you click on chat, you'll need to subscribe to get access to this chatbot, which is similar to the Copilot, which I showed you in Scispace, where you can chat with an AI about the paper that you're analyzing. If you click on figures, this shows you all the figures in the article, so you don't need to scroll all the way down and try to find it yourself. It's just basically grouping all the figures and captions together in one tab, so it's easier for you to find. And then references, here are all the references. Paper recommendations, this is recommending further papers which you can read. And you can sort this by open access or not, sort by recommended first or the published date. And then notes, here's just where you can input your notes, and it auto-saves, as you can see here, so that when you go back to the library tab, you can see all your summarized articles would be in here. If you click into this and then go back to notes again, you can see your notes here. So that's the summarize tab for you. There's also a multi-article summarize. It's very versatile what you can do, so you can summarize articles individually, but at the same time. So you're going to have, like, if you upload 3 articles, you're going to have 3 separate summaries. You can compare sections of articles or entire articles. You can combine all 3 articles together to generate one big summary of those 3 articles. Or you can also chat with multiple articles, which I believe requires a paid plan. But keep in mind, each scientific article is like thousands of words long already. So if you're on the free plan, which gives you only 10,000 words per month, you're going to really quickly exceed this amount. So generally, the free plan is only good for like summarizing 1 or 2 papers per month. But anyways, really quickly, let me show you the pricing. So again, the free plan is 10,000 words per month. If you go for premium, it's 1,000,000 words per month. So they claim that you can summarize approximately 75 papers per month with this plan. And then you can pay for more expensive plans if you want to increase your limits. So those are the 4 most helpful tools that I have found for academic research. Again, this video is not sponsored by any of these tools. These are what I genuinely find to be really awesome for scientific research and searching for information in the scientific literature. So let me know what you think of these tools in the comments below. If you know of another tool that would fit this category, please also let me know. I would love to learn more about it and try it out. If you enjoyed this video, remember to like, share, subscribe, and stay tuned for more content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.